Mercedes duo Lewis Hamilton and George Russell endured a difficult preseason testing in Bahrain. Mercedes boss Toto Wolff may have to eat humble pie and just revert to the revised design on the W14 and follow the same route as the likes of Red Bull and Ferrari, according to former Jordan employee Gary Anderson. Mercedes ended 2022 on a relatively high note with confidence around the team that they were closing in on a design that would be competitive at the front of the grid. But that confidence has seemingly shifted heading into the 2023 season, with both Lewis Hamilton and Russell struggling for pace and grip in the three-day test in Bahrain last week. Mercedes have decided to stick with the Geor0e design from last year's car. Although there have been noticeable tweaks, the position of the inlets are much higher and have seemingly followed in Red Bull's footsteps with a small ramp on the top of the pods. But Wolff has already admitted that the team are willing to scrap the Geor0e design for a more conventional style fitting with the rest of the grid, and based on Mercedes' performance at preseason testing, Anderson can't understand why the Silver Arrows would persist with their current design if they already have something else in the works. When raising the big questions Mercedes face this season, Anderson wrote for The Race, Mercedes says it had a majorly revised design in the starting blocks. Why start with this package if you already know there is something better available? What will that revised design look like, and will Mercedes eat humble pie and visually change the look of the car to something more in line with the other leading cars? Anderson puts Mercedes behind Aston Martin in the pecking order when analyzing the data from the preseason testing. And the former F1 car designer also noted how Mercedes are possibly aware of their shortcomings after letting Hamilton loose on the final day of testing. On the circuit, the car didn't look as settled or as consistent as the drivers wanted, Anderson added. To compound that, on the second day, Mercedes spent a lot of time looking for some lost front downforce or load, as it called it. If it can get lost as easily as that on day 2, then it's still running a bit of a knife-edge car, and that could just be the search for consistency that I mentioned above. Lewis Hamilton seemed to have the edge over George Russell on most occasions. During the afternoon session on day 3, Hamilton was let loose on both the softer C4 and C5 tires, producing his best lap time on the latter. During his runs on the soft tires, he was giving it full beans and using every bit of track available. The car was very reactive, so it didn't look like there was a lot of fuel on board. Normally, if Mercedes felt it had a strong package, it would stay well away from showing its hand until the very last minute.